Alright, so welcome back to part 2 of Transistor here, and let's go ahead and get these guys transformed. And we'll start with Hifi / rewind here. And just like you would with the original, you kind of pull the feet out. Of course, since more things are tabbed in this time, you do have to kind of wiggle things around a little bit, like so. And flip this out. And I gotta say, unlike, you know, the usual KFC tape offerings, this particular guy actually feels real good. Couple little paint issues from thick white paint, but other than that, not bad. So you saw I fold out the feet here, flip things around, and then you take this little piece of the tape and you actually rotate it on in, and this is probably the most difficult part here. Rotate these little guys on in like so. Take these, unfold them. Of course, they're on ball joints that are deteriorating due to the paint, but whatever, as long as they work, that's okay with me. So we'll flip his little hands around, flip it, flip his hands, and put them the right way, which was the way I had them. There we go, we got everything except his head. His head here is on a swivel. You flip it around and then flip it around. And when I had said I wasn't sure what the head was, it's actually the visor and the head crest that's different. The only thing is, if you switch out any of the heads, you can't put them back into cassette mode because of the deco on the back of the head and the flatness to it. So those heads are only useful when you keep them in robot mode as opposed to cassette mode. But seeing how well they work with the cassette, not a big loss. Alright, so let's actually get on to transforming Transistor. This guy is a whole lot of panels and a whole lot of tabs. If you're not a fan of panel former, you can probably stop the video right now because you've probably seen enough. So what we'll start by doing is pretty much loosening everything we can from this guy, and you'll just see how many panels he is. I mean, you got these big front panels, panels on the top, panels forming the whole rear of the robot here. So it's just a big mess, and you can see I just kind of started by unfolding everything. So let's actually work on a leg here instead of just making them a big mess. So what we're going to start doing is take this one panel and flip it around this way, and it'll close up here, and that's where we'll stop with this for now. We'll extend his leg, and then the panel you have to be most careful about here is this little silver one. Try to grab it as close to the hinge portion as you can so you don't apply a torque from the side here, but you have to open this all the way to access the foot pivoting on out like this, and then you kind of have to pivot it to the side as you close that silver panel back on up. Now you'll take the handle, fold it into itself just like that, and fold this up. Once we have that, we can take this little side silver panel, fold this, and then fold this up, and then that'll peg right into the back of the thigh here, which can be a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. And of course, we do have a heel spur. So we'll put that down, and we'll come to the other leg. Again, flip this out, flip this panel around, we'll close the front, we'll come down to this piece, we'll carefully move this hinge completely out of the way to allow our foot to pass. And like I said, by far this is the scariest hinge on this toy. Close it on up, close all of this on up like this, fold the little piece here and plug it on into itself and flip out the heel spur. This one's much more loose on mine than the other. So that's where we can kind of stop on the legs for now. We'll come back and finish them up in a minute. Let's get on to the top of the robot. So considering how the centerpiece here is built on Soundwave, they've also changed some things to make it uniquely Blaster. So you slide these shoulder pieces on forward. That's going to give you enough clearance that we can slide these up. So you'll untab this piece and then slide them straight up like so. Once you have that like that, give them a good twist around here. And now we should have the clearance that we can open up this back flap just a little bit here and the front flap just a little, so we can actually squeeze his two halves of his crotch together and then just tab everything in with the front and the rear panels, like so. So that shores everything up, and we've now completed the whole bottom portion of the robot. So coming back to here again, we'll now flip this panel down. We can take these, flip them on in like so, and they're just designed to sit flush with the back like this. They do stick out a tiny bit, but not much. There we go. We'll save the head for last, I suppose. Come down here and we'll pull his arms down. And now we gotta fix all these panels. So the first thing to do is to flip the big one on in like so. Now, actually, I'm sorry, I was wrong about that. We keep this one out because as we detach this bottom panel here from these side panels, that's gonna actually allow us access to the socket that the hands are held in, which mine are a little bit stiff. Sometimes it's handy to have some of the accessories around, and you can take it and kind of provide a little bit of movement on it. Maybe this is not the best accessory. There we go. Got it. And flip that all the way around, and we'll close up that panel. Now we can flip this for the panel that connected over the shoulder piece together, and then close that on up. So now that we've got that, then you take these panels. Are you tired of the word panel yet? Flip them down, flip them across, and then flip them back up, and you can see you have the little hole here to accommodate the tab. So there we go. There's one arm done, and we'll just fix his hands like so. There we go. Now we'll come back to this other one. So again, save this panel, put it up, flip this hand not nearly as stiff, close it, close it, close it, bring it down, bring it across, tab it on in, and fix his hand. There we go. And finally, just like Soundwave, pull that little panel back, flip his head up, and there we go. We've got Blaster in his robot. Alright, so let's transform Blaster and Hifi here, or rewind I should say, back to their robot mode so we can get out of here. Start by flipping his head, flipping it down, and take all this stuff, kind of fold it on in, and make sure the fist is facing the right way so you have that hole for the spool winders. So it's like this, bring it down, flip the fist so it's the right way, and fold it on in. Whoops. Like so. And you can fit the fist both ways, but there's obviously one way that, you know, you can see the body is designed to fit it that way. So once you got that, you come down to the feet here, and this is a little bit more tricky. So we'll fold this so we obviously have the right pieces of the tape facing forward. You gotta get in here and try to move this tiny little piece that you folded in. Tough to do, but certainly doable. I don't even have very good fingernails. There we go. Take that off. And now what you have to do is take this and fold everything up, but it can take a little bit of persuasion here to get this. So what I always do is I leave the foot out first, and I get it so it's gonna fold itself away properly, like that. And then I just kind of tuck it out a little, like so. And then I'll do that again for the other side. And then everything's like this, and I can now pretty well squeeze everything, and it should all fit back into place. And if you do have a problem with it, then take it out and make some adjustments here, because really it's this little double angle joint down here that just causes the problems on things fitting exactly right. There we go. Now we can see that it's gonna fit, so kind of undo our work a little. Fold this on in, squeeze it back together, and there we go. We've got our rewind back in his cassette mode. And you can see, my buddy Skullface said that he had paint coming off. That is true a little bit, but most of it seems to be this overly thick white paint. The tempo on the front, I don't seem to have any missing, so that's good. So now we'll get on the blast here. We'll go ahead and we'll start just how we finished. We'll take his head, put it away, fold that on closed. We'll start by doing his arms here. So again, all the panels have to get disconnected, like so, to open this up. And then you want to take his fist here and kind of find the best way to get this articulated hand on in. I find folding the fingers all the way and the thumb across tends to work the best. And just fold that on in and close that panel up, like so. And actually, when I was struggling a little earlier, you can unscrew this screw just like a quarter turn, and that'll free everything up. So again, we'll do this side. Open all his panels. Flip this in the way that'll work. Fold them up. Fold it around and in, and close that on up. Just like that. Now we'll take his arms here, and you want to bring this like this, and bring this panel all the way down like so. And that will plug into the bottom portion of his wrist panels. And this kind of goes up here, just like that. You want to keep it. So making that squared up. So again, on the other side, bring this up, bring this down, bring this around here. And some of these panels can be tricky because you do have like the double jointed type mechanism here to make that work. And yeah, you want to make sure that this inner double swivel elbow is as in as it can be, because that top panel will clip into the shoulder up here to square that up right like that. And then again, come down here and close this thing on up. And before we go any further, we'll make sure this is out of the way, and we're going to flip him all the way around. And while we still have the chance, actually put it back this way first, and unpeg this back panel, unpeg this front panel, so our thighs will split apart like this. There we go. Now that we have that, we'll flip this on around so that's making the front, and we can actually fold this piece down. And that's going to give us the room to undo this back panels, slide these on down, keeping that panel we had to flip out of the way still until we get these down. Then you plug them on in, and you can see that these will go and plug onto our arm pieces. Now that those panels are out of the way, we can actually slide these guys on back like so. And then we'll take these and we'll make sure our arm's in a good position and plug these panels into those panels and make sure everything is still in good shape back here. So there we go. Plug them on in like this, and we're good to go. So now it's just onto the legs. Make sure that that's all squared up. Fold in our little heel spurs here. Unplug this piece, which can be difficult sometimes. Unplug it, flip it around like this, flip it all the way like so, and while we have it out of the way, grab this by this piece, open it on up, open this piece, tilt our foot so we can actually tilt the silver piece, flip this on in, and all the way over like this. And then we can close this back up and then open that panel all the way. And you can see, now that we have that, we gotta make sure our leg's right. This folds up just like this, and we'll tab it in to 3 different places on this back panel here. And we should have actually had this tab down, but it tends to be enough wiggle room there for it to not be too big of a deal to actually get it in after the fact. So we got that. We'll do that again for this side. Rinse and repeat. Open this on up all the way, flip it around, open this panel, tilt our foot out of the way, open the panel, tilt our foot past it, close the panel, flip this all the way around, open this, just like this, fold it on up, plug our leg into the 3 places on the back here. Adjust this panel here so it's actually tabbed into the side, like so. So we got that. Now you take this and you close it on up, and actually those should be square so they are sitting properly. So we got that, and we can kind of close everything on up, give it a little bit of a gentle squeeze here, and you can see like this piece here will slip in between those pieces up here to fold it on in. And just once again give it a once over to make sure all our panels are all tabbed in and it's closed up. These back ones love to come undone for me. We got that. And then just take these and clip them together. And there you go. We got Blaster in his boombox mode again. Highly recommend this guy. A lot of fun if you don't mind all the panels. So this is T2RX6. See you guys next week.